I just got back from the Mammoth Sniper Challenge 2, March 2025, Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. Some of my gear did very well, some of my gear did not do very well. Here is my final gear review of everything that I took with me to the Mammoth Sniper Challenge.
Oh, that's amazing. Look at that fish.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've had about a week or so to digest the competition, the Mammoth Sniper Challenge 2 at Fort Chaffee in Arkansas, March 2025. And we did well. We finished, Mark and I finished, and we were kind of hell-bent on finishing. Nothing was really going to stop us. Mark got a wicked blister on his foot, but he was able to power through that, and some cramps on Saturday. I literally saw his calf muscle in a spasm, and it is pretty cool. I mean, it sucked for him, but you know, it's really interesting being in the medical field, seeing a muscle spasm like that. But we finished. We came in 26th place, and this is going to be a gear review video of everything that I took with me to the Mammoth Sniper Challenge. What went well, what didn't go well, what broke, and how we can do things better for the next time. The weather was poor. It rained when we were doing our briefing on Friday morning. Didn't really rain during the ruck, and then the skies opened up for about 4 hours on Friday morning. So everything was soaked, everybody was soaked. Weapon mounted laser rangefinders did not work because their screens were wet and stuff like that. So there were some challenges on Saturday, in addition to how difficult the competition already is during perfect conditions. And then on Saturday night into Sunday morning from about 2:30 to 4:30, significant severe thunderstorms rolled through, thunder, lightning, rain, and wind. And that was definitely a challenge in and of itself. So I'll talk about the gear that I brought with me and things that I'd change for next time. And yeah, we're going to kick things off with my squad leader, Dave. He gave us some Goat Kick coffee for the Mammoth Sniper Challenge, the Mammoth Blend. It is bourbon, tastes like bourbon, smoke, dark chocolate, and hazelnut. And you know what? It's pretty damn good. So Dave, thanks for the coffee. So as I mentioned, the weather was poor. Everybody was wet on Friday morning. It made certain stages challenging. I'm glad that the stage that we had in the rain was the one that we had in the rain, because I think the most points on that stage overall was 12. I'll talk more about the competition itself in the after action report in a couple days, but you know, that the rain, the weather played a part in the gear. I used my binos a lot,
Mark, there's a duck
because I just felt more comfortable. It's a larger field of view when you're scanning for targets. Not the most stable, but definitely better than the weapon-mounted rangefinder, laser rangefinder on the rifle. We'll kind of just start with some of the non-essential but essential stuff, like toilet paper, dude wipes. It's always good to have that in small quantities. I had a few extra dude wipes, so a couple extra ounces there. My med kit, I did take Aleve and ibuprofen on Friday and Saturday night respectively, and that kind of helped because my lower back was sore. But overall, I felt really good throughout the whole competition. The moleskin, I'm definitely going to bring a roll of tape next time versus like the sheets that I pre-cut. After January, I had a hot spot on my toe, and I wrapped it preemptively, prophylactically, and then it wound up rubbing on my second toe, and I got a blister on the inside of my second toe. So I wound up wrapping that toe and not putting anything else on my feet, and I was absolutely fine. My feet were sore, but no blisters, nothing. The Brooks Cascadia 16s and the Smart Wool socks, Smart Wool Crew light cushion hiking socks. I mean, these things it's just a bomb-proof combination. I used this combination, newer socks, at Mammoth March last year, and I didn't have any problems with my feet, and I didn't have any problems with my feet again this year. So that worked very, very well. Toiletries are toiletries. I didn't have to use the Body Glide, you know, toothpaste, toothbrush, sunscreen. Probably could have put some sunscreen on, but overall, that stuff was fine. The cookset's a pot with a coffee mug and the BRS stove, a little scratch pad to clean my spoon, and a mini Bic lighter, which you can't buy in Walmart anymore. You can only buy in a pack of like 1,000 on Amazon. But that whole cook set worked just fine. Boiled water in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and it did exactly what it needed to do. Since I wasn't cooking, I was just boiling water. I ate the peak refuel meals after the thunderstorms on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Did not get a ton of sleep. I just did not feel well, and I didn't want to hurl on our ruck, so I did not eat breakfast. I just kind of grazed, and I was definitely short on calories Sunday, especially leading into the ruck back, but I was able to power through. You just have to finish the rucks at the end of the day, so it worked out well. I could have eaten, but I would have been forcing it, and then I didn't want to get sick. On Saturday, on the ruck back, I stepped on a rock and twisted my ankle. Didn't really think anything of it because it was okay, but I cracked my ankles, sue me, and it just felt stiff. Like when you're stepping on the gas, like that motion, it felt stiff, and I didn't really realize it, but I guess I slightly sprained my ankle because that was Saturday afternoon. I finally had a chance to have a good look at it on Monday night, and it sure enough was swollen compared to the left. So I did ruck all day Sunday on a mildly sprained ankle. Other than that, like the miscellaneous gear that you have to bring, but it's not like the sexiest thing, everything worked out fine. There wasn't anything that I forgot that I wish I had, and there wasn't anything that I had that I wish I left behind. Some of the shooting gear, like I mentioned, Vortex, Fury 5000s, non-AB. I use this a lot more than I remember to find targets, especially for mark. And I was able to find them and range them, and these things really worked well. I know there are people that don't bring binos, but I think that they're essential because you just get a better field of view than your weapon-mounted laser rangefinder on top of your optic. I brought some shooting glasses. These are from Shell Shock Protection, but I only used them on one of the 11 stages. It just wasn't sunny enough to wear them, and kind of just kept them in the bag the whole time. This shooting bag from Armageddon Gear, it's a Schmedium Game Changer with the sticky stuff. I think I'm going to get just a flat bag. This, I don't know, I can never get it in the right position. I feel like I'm always fumbling. Plus, when I have the tripod, this doesn't sit very well on there. So having a flat bag with a lot of surface area would ultimately be better. Having a notepad was essential, especially one that would withstand the rain. Right in the rain, I pre-wrote a template for all of the stages, so I was able to just kind of fill stuff in versus write everything down, and I think it really came in handy. We were able to formulate a plan, and I can go back and look and really remember what the stages were like, what they told us, and all that jazz. I used new Ear Pro. This is from Axel, and they were just some buds basically. These are the i30s. They're like $30. And after what happened in January, where music was playing on Bluetooth earbuds, I vowed for that never to happen again. So I went with a non-electronic earbud. Mark's brake was so loud. So loud that we were warning the ROs and the spotters, like, his brake is really loud. And and they like kind of didn't believe us. And then he took his first shot, and they were like, "Holy crap, that thing is loud!" So when we were in that back of that LMT, I had to bleep myself out a couple times because being in a metal box with a loud 308 brake, those things didn't really hold up very well. But when we were shooting out in the open, it was fine. I can probably save some weight. I'm not the best shooter. I could probably save some weight by going with some polymer AICS mags. These things weigh a lot a piece, and for this competition, you probably don't need, as long as there are no feeding issues. Mark had some feeding issues with his magazines in his 308, but I would make sure that they feed well with a regular polymer AICS mag, and then I could probably save the weight of one magazine because these things are heavy. Let's talk about the clothing. There were a couple of things that I did not want to do. One, I didn't want to chicken out. And the last two mammoths, the first one I didn't really know what to expect. The second one I knew better, but it was cold. And this one I was not going to chicken out. You absolutely have to ruck in shorts. Rucking in pants, you just overheat, and it's really unnecessary to do that. So I rucked in a pair of those socks that I told you about, a pair of underwear, and these are just some REI shorts that I've had for a long time. Cut the liner out, and they're comfortable to ruck in. And then a Smart Wool merino wool shirt. I rucked 30 plus miles in this thing, and on Sunday afternoon it still did not smell. Merino wool is great at odor control, and I smelled, other people smelled, but my shirt did not smell. The shorts smelled a little bit, but the merino wool is like a game changer in terms of smell. After I rucked, we kind of hung our clothes in the branches and whatnot, and I didn't really change underwear, but I changed into a dry pair of socks on Saturday. Friday everything was wet, so I didn't change. I had a Core Essentials inner belt that I brought with me to hold up my pants, which are just some Wranglers that I made a video on when I first got them like 3 or 4 years ago. People said that they wouldn't last. Well, you know what? I compete with these in the Patriot Games, now competed with them in the Mammoth Sniper Challenge, and they are still going. They were $20 pants. Smart Wool, merino wool, long sleeve hooded shirt for just hanging around in the sun. And then at night, I changed into a clean pair of underwear, a clean pair of sleep socks. I could probably do without the thermals, but it's really comfortable to get into some clean, dry clothing and not have your sweaty, oily skin up against your sleeping bag, sleeping quilt, or your sleeping pad. So these were really nice. And then a nice, clean, dry shirt. They really do wonders for your morale. So I really wouldn't change anything about the clothing. I didn't bring a cap. I didn't bring my puffy. I didn't bring gloves. I did bring a rain jacket, but it's really old and it's not waterproof anymore, so I'm probably going to get a new one. And I did have some Z-Packs rain pants that I put on Friday and did not touch them for the rest of the weekend. And then other than that, the clothing was essentially perfect. I've only been shooting long range for about 1.5 years now. So to complete and compete, be competitive somewhat in the Mammoth Sniper Challenge is a huge accomplishment. But I still have my deficiencies, my flaws, my faults, and I'm still learning. But this 6GT put together by GCP Rifle Co. up in Venice, it really is a fantastic rifle. The misses were my own and none of the rifle. Mark noticed that it was canting pretty easily, so this was on my bipod, wound up being a little loose, and still a little loose, and it was just kind of messing me up a little bit because it canted so easily. So once I tightened that down, I got a little bit better, but I still left a lot of points out there, and I'll talk about the shooting stages in that after action report. But overall, this rifle sat out in the rain for 4 hours, and it, still smooth with just a little bit of oil on that bolt. The pistol. This is an X5 Legion. This is what I normally compete with. Delta Point Pro, Parker Mountain Machine, comp and barrel. I did not have a light, but I put the light back on. That goes in my Safariland holster, but the holster that I have for this competition does not have a light mold. There were people that had lights on there mainly so that they could have the retention on their holsters, but I did not need it. But when I am shooting and I pull the trigger, my dot goes down and to the left. So I recently picked up a 19 and a 47 because you can't buy a 17 MOS anymore, Gen 5, because that's for law enforcement only. But I probably will change the pistol out. The pistol shooting in the Mammoth Sniper Challenge, it's not difficult. They make you think, but it's not difficult. You know, the most difficult shots were probably on stage 7 because you had 18 shots with a mandatory reload from left to right, and there were 6 targets, and essentially number 1 all the way on the left was the furthest target, and then they came in from there, and one of them was really small. And then other than that, there was a 99-yard pistol shot thereabouts on Saturday stage 10, Sunday stage 10, the one that I did not record. But the pistol shooting is not difficult, so you don't need a really high-end pistol. You just need one that you can shoot well. So I'm probably going to drop a pound and take a 19 for the next time I do this. But I'm still up in the air. I would have to be primary shooter to shoot this again at minimum, but if I'm a secondary shooter, I'm building a lightweight 223. So the weapons performed well, but I still have a lot to learn. And then last would be the camping gear and the backpack. So my Recon Bino harness broke. If you've seen some of my videos, I have a pistol holster from close quarters carry on the right wing with a Tech-Lock mounting system. It's meant for a belt, but it will go around MOLLE. And I rucked maybe about 50 miles total plus with that system, and then the stitching over here just gave way. So the buckle over here, it just released there. I've already talked to Everly Stock. They're going to warranty it, so I just need to send it back, but I wanted to wait until I did this video to do that. I would keep a utility pouch over here with my pistol ammo, binos in here. I would have a little admin pouch down here, and then the holster here. I stepped off with 9.5 pounds on this bino harness, and all of that weight had to go in the pack for the final ruck on Sunday, which made it a little less than enjoyable. But the pack was an Everly Stock Gunslinger 2, and I really like this pack. I really do. But it can be better. It can be so much better because it can be lighter and a little bit more organized. So, hey, Everly Stock, if you're watching, I've got some ideas. Let's chat. But, you know, PT belt is mandatory. I really liked how you had this suitcase style opening because I didn't have to go in the top. I basically would lay it down, open it like a duffel bag. I'd have my food up here, I'd have my sleeping bag down there, and all the stuff that I might use throughout the day was like right here. So it was really easy to get in and out of and find everything. Nothing got lost at the bottom and stuff like that. But this pack can be so much better, and it can be probably the most popular bag at that competition with a few modifications. I kept all of my quick access stuff that I needed up here, like pistol mags and my notebook and my spoon and stuff like that. Good organization up here, and I liked this pocket. But the main reason why I got this pack was because of the scabbard. I was using the Osprey Exos 58, but when I built that 18-pound rifle, it just didn't hold it well, so I needed something that held the rifle better. So this scabbard worked great. One time I forgot to buckle these buckles, and it was shifting to one side. So that was the only mistake that I made that was not related to the pack. And then one thing that I did was, in one of the pictures that they have online, when I didn't need the pack, I wound up putting this waistband around back, and that just kind of kept things content, kept things nice and tight. But overall, the pack held the weight well. I stepped off with just under 50 pounds in here, and I didn't weigh it when I got home, but I would imagine that I dropped a few pounds overall, but I had to put the bino harness and my pistol in here, so everything was in the pack for the final ruck. My camping gear, the sleeping pad, the sleeping bag or the quilt, and the pillow, they were fine. The first night I inflated the pillow too much and my head was like this and I was snoring. Sorry, Mark. But then the second night I didn't inflate it as much and no snoring, but we did have that storm. If I were to go back to Chaffee, I would not bring this tent. This tent is great when the ground is not hard. And at Chaffee, if you've been there, you know how hard that camping area ground is. And I found this amazing rock. And I was so excited to find this rock because it helped. It was like a Thor's hammer and just banging the tent stakes into the ground because they really, really went in easily with a better rock. But when that storm rolled through, we were on the leeward side and it was just smashing up against the side of the tent, which caused the stakes to come out and the vestibule kind of collapsed. So, you know, having a freestanding tent, one with poles, would probably be better for Chaffee just because the ground is so hard. Now, there were other people that had a tent like this, a trekking pole tent or similar, and they did fine. But whether it was where I set up or how I set up, can't predict which way the wind is going to come in. But this tent was not great for that application. I do plan on using this when I go backpacking again because it is so light. Other than that, what I would do differently. If I were to do Mammoth again and I were to be the primary shooter, I would strongly consider building a lighter rifle, like a 22 ARC. There are a lot of guys who run 223 but 85 grain, so their free bore is like 17 inches. But I don't reload, so having an 85 grain 223 would be a stretch for me. And having a 22 ARC would probably be what I would do. A 22-inch barrel with an 88 grain projectile, you could probably get your rifle around 10 pounds or so. So I'm strongly considering that. And then going with a lighter pistol, a 19, because like I said, the pistol shooting is not difficult. And then if I were to lighten up my rifle and lighten up my pistol, that lightens up the ammunition, I might be able to go back to that Osprey Exos 58 because that'll save me another 2.5 pounds over the Everly stock Gunslinger. The Gunslinger is like 5.5 pounds. So those three things can save me about, 13, 14, 15 pounds. And that is really enticing because you have to carry everything. Other than that, the match was great. Like I said, we finished. From the prize table, I got a $500 gift certificate to JP Enterprises, so I'm probably going to build a pretty slick duty rifle. And we got a $25 gift card to Bravo Concealment. I've already ordered a holster just for funsies. And I got my finisher patch and a lifetime of memories. So I was really excited to finish. I was a little emotional because I wanted it so badly. And we'll talk more about that in the after action report coming up in a few days. That's going to do it for this one. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next video.